think the Niners need to get a wide receiver in this draft for a few reasons. One, it's supposed to be a phenomenal wide receiver draft. It's like 12, 13 guys deep. You can get good starting caliber wide receivers in round 3, all throughout day 2. So that's reason enough. Plus, the Niners need a new type of wide receiver to complement Trey. For the last 4 or 5 years, they've gotten all these, wide receivers / running backs who are, perfect for Jimmy Garoppolo, yards after the catch specialists. They have a lot of those guys. They need a deep threat for Trey Lance. I would like to see the Niners draft one in no later than round 3. Do not wait longer than round 3. And I mean, I'm just starting to dip my toes into the scouting process, but I see that there's a guy named Calvin Austin who is 5'9", like 165 pounds. He ran a 4.32. And I'm looking at him. He's projected to go in the 3rd round. He's had back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons at Memphis. He had 11 receiving touchdowns in 2020 and 8 in 2021. He's also a kick returner who had a kick return for a touchdown each of the last 2 years. I mean, that's exactly the kind of wide receiver the Niners don't have. Some people compare him to Tyreek Hill. Everyone compares the fast guys to Tyreek Hill, but he's also kind of like Rondale Moore. I like the guy a lot. And if the Niners have a better option, I mean, obviously, if they could get Christian Watson, great. But Christian Watson from North Dakota State's probably going to be a top 45 pick. The Niners have to trade up for him. And I think the Niners actually probably need to trade down. They need so many things right now just to hedge their bets on all these young guys that are unproven that are going to be starting this year. So Calvin Austin could be going in the 80s, in the 90s. The Niners might be able to take him with their 3rd round pick. It's like, can we get one wide receiver in the team that doesn't also double as a running back? Can we just get a guy who's just a wide receiver, who just runs a 4.3? How about that? But he also is a kick returner. So I'm just saying, Calvin Austin 3rd.
See, and the thing with Calvin that I understand is he was for sure like probably late 3rd round guy, and then he ran a 4.31 or whatever it was. Some people have slowed it down and said it was a 4.03 if you really look at it, which is insane. 4.03. I don't even know if that's possible for a human being, but at any rate, now they're saying that he could go 1st round of the Chiefs now that they have 2 1st-round picks. So know what the range is, right? Like, could he be a 1st rounder? Could he be a 3rd rounder? And he could fall anywhere in between. And so that's what makes it really tough with these guys. I think Calvin Austin with that speed, that's the one thing the 49ers don't have is just breakaway speed. And so I think that Calvin Austin, for sure, if you can get your hands on him now, one reason why I think he probably will fall, because I think Watson could go to the Chiefs. The Chiefs and the Packers are teams I'm looking at. Possibly if the Ravens trade back, I could see them going that route. But I think that they want a fast guy who's also a big body.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, 5'8", 170, Tyreek's small. Yeah. He's also pretty thick if you look at him. It's not like he's a thin, frail guy. Calvin Austin, 5'8", 170, that's small. And you're not
like Rondale Moore.
Right.
Yeah, who was a 2nd round pick for the Cardinals last year. Very small. Yeah.
Right. And now a weapon, an obvious weapon. And he could be a menace for a long time. But I think Calvin Austin probably does slip to the 2nd round. Now, how late? I don't know. I don't know if he can be 3rd, that 90th pick overall or whatever, 90. I just don't see it anymore. I don't see it.
Well, see, CBS still has him as like the late 1/4. Like, but yeah, they seem like.
Well, and SI has him ranked 16th at receiver, which means he could go pretty late.
SI, I work for them. Oh, well, never mind. Put it down. All right, forget it. Thank you for all that you've provided.
No, but that's 16th overall receiver, not overall prospect. 16th overall receiver. So yes, a lot of people still see him going late. Yeah.
No, he's going 90. Was it 93rd to the 49ers?
Yeah. So I mean, listen, if they get hell yeah, I don't think anybody says no to that. I don't think nobody says no to that for sure.
I'm a draft genius all of a sudden. No. Calvin Austin the 3rd, not the 2nd, not the 1st. You want the 3rd. Way better than the previous vintages. 49ers, Memphis.
There you go. Now, right, let me give you a name to keep an eye on. Now, he's not. The interesting thing about him is I just talked about they need a speedy guy, right? Mm-hmm. But a guy that is going to fall, because I know this is the bulky thing to do, right? Is to take a guy that had an ACL injury. but Michi out of or Mechie, I guess, out of Alabama.
Mhm,
I mean, this is a guy who had 96 receptions, 1,142 yards,
mhm.
a well-rounded receiver. He's not super, he if I was, I'm not gonna give a comp, but if you look at Ayuk, right? How does Ayuk win? Ayuk's not super big, Ayuk's not super fast. The route running has come and gone a little bit. People broke that down, but he still wins at the NFL level, and we think he's about to break out. Well, if you look at it, if you're going to pay Debo Samuel, there's a chance that in 2 or 3 years you're not going to be able to pay Brandon Ayuk. So if you get a guy who was a late first round, early second round grade who tears his ACL, rest him for a year and wean him in, maybe he becomes the eventual replacement to either Debo or Ayuk. And because you don't want to constantly pay all your receivers. So there's guys out there. There's certainly going to be receivers out there. And I think your point is they just have to get a receiver. There's some receivers out there that the 49ers certainly can go get. None of them are going to be as fast as Austin by any means. But there are guys that they can go get that I think are going to have great value for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I would just like to see something a little bit different in the wide
I
receiver
agree.
room. Yeah, and something that like shows a real commitment to Trey Lance because Ray McLeod is not that. Forget
No.
that. And don't tell me that the Niners don't need Calvin Austin Jr. The third because they have Ray McLeod. Like forget Ray has 0 return touchdowns in his career. Think of Ray as the next running back. He's a running back for this team.
Mhm.
It's Kyle's next wide back project. Anything he gives on special teams, he's solid, not spectacular. This dude is a legit threat. I would like this dude. This
Yeah.
dude.